Hi guys, so today we're having a look at the KVD Beauty Good Apple Skin Perfecting Foundation Balm. So, I actually got this a while ago, but I ended up giving it more of a longer try than normal. So it comes in a box. You get 10 grams of product. In the UK this costs £29 and in the US it retails at $38. Now, what they say about it on the website is, Good Apple Foundation Balm gives you fast, lightweight, full coverage with a fresh matte finish. Fresh matte finish? Yep, not flat, not dewy, just right, skin that looks like skin. Get one and done, buildable full coverage that lasts all day and feels like you're not even wearing foundation. Quickly cover blemishes and discoloration for an instant confidence boost. It's flashback free, non-cakey and it'll last all day. They do mention that some shades look different in the compact than on the skin, and it's a vegan foundation infused with apple extract and sodium hyaluronate to help nourish and hydrate skin. It's creamy, non-comedogenic, and it minimises the appearance of pores for a smooth, healthy look. It's best for normal to dry skin. So to be fair, I don't have the best skin type for this, but if you're like me and you have oily skin but have a makeup obsession, you're probably curious about this because it's been hyped up, and therefore this review is here for you. So, there is a shade chart on the website comparing it to the Kat Von D Lock-It foundation. I had the shade Light 42, which apparently made me shade Light 006. Now then, how many shades are there? Because I can't remember. Okay, so there's 40 shades, and as you can see, hopefully, from this picture, there is a whole range of different depths of skin tone and also different undertones, so I would say pretty good shade range, which is always good. So let's get going with this review. I've got a little application section, a wear test, and then the usual summary. Right, so I finally get to try this guy. I've got two different primers on just to see if one works better. So I've got the Soap and Glory One Heck of a Blot on the left side of my face, and the Stargazer kind of pressed primer. It's in a compact on the right side of my face. So I'm going to use my usual type of brush. Kind of guy. This happens to be the Sigma Round Kabuki F82, and it looks so perfect and I don't want to mess it up, but I gotta, because I need to get ready for work. So picks up really easily on the brush. Let's see how far this goes. So I'd seen one or two quick videos of people using this, and you know, just the crazy full coverage when they swipe it on their face. So I was expecting this to be full coverage, and those videos were not lying. So I'm not sure how this is going to do with my oily skin. It's going to be interesting to see. So I'm going to go back and get a little bit more product to finish my forehead and do a little bit extra on my chin, because my chin is just, it just needs hidden. And I believe I looked it up years ago, and like chin and jawline is like hormonal and stress related kind of breakouts. So they're the kind that however good your skincare is, you're stuck with them. And unfortunately I don't deal with stress very well, so I get them a lot. I'm really happy with the colour match on this actually. I'm so glad that they done the kind of conversion table between the two. Some brands don't do that when they use random different shade names. For example, I love my Dose of Colours foundation. If you've been around the channel, you know that. But they have a matching concealer. The colours don't, they've not got the same names. I don't know which one to use. It's very strange. But I guess it's a little bit more strange to have two foundations within a brand and use a completely different naming system. So the table was definitely needed. Okay, it's doing something funny on my nose, but most foundations do, where it doesn't want to stick right on the bridge of my nose, like right down the line. But that's fine. So I'm going to do my concealer just to see how well they blend together. So I'm still using the NYX Dark Circle Correcting Concealer for my under eyes. I love this guy. It's affordable, it lasts forever. Like, I genuinely can't remember when I bought that. If you're thinking, I've seen you use that in your videos before, I can tell you I've never repurchased it. So anytime you've seen me using it, it's been that same little tiny jar. It's just lasting forever. Okay, and then my beloved Conceal and Define Infinite Concealer. I'm going to try and use less of this than normal since it is a foundation review, but the under eyes definitely get help. That little spot can go away. Right, that's it. I'm not letting myself use any more. That was more than I really should have used on a foundation review, but it's a lot less than I use on the everyday. And if there's any blemishes left after this, I'm going to go back in with the foundation and try building that up instead. Oh goody, my nose doesn't want to play. There we go. Doo -doo -doo. Right, so I am going to go back into the foundation, a little bit more down here. Oh, what is that? Okay, maybe I didn't extend my primer back there. We're going to blame the primer and not the foundation. A little bit more on my chin. But I mean, the concealer has, blended right in with it. I think this is slightly less coverage than the foundation that I'm used to. I think that first moment where you put it on, it's more the thickness of the formula that makes it look crazy super coverage. I mean, when I did see it as a Balm foundation, I thought, okay, it's not going to be the fullest, and then I saw those videos, and then I basically got confused about it. But it is definitely buildable without going cakey, so I don't know why I always leave out this section or don't get enough coverage on this section. I just neglect the side of my face. Okay, so I'm going to set this down and see how it looks. So I've got two powders on the go at the moment. I've got a Revolution pressed under eye type powder, which, yeah, I did do a review on this. And as you can see, I've used it every day since. And then for the rest of my face, I'm just going to get some of the RCMA No Colour powder. That stuff is, whew, love it. And yep, I put a lot of powder on my nose. It's my oiliest place, and for some reason if I go in with a tiny amount of powder on my brush, it seems to remove more foundation, which is weird and annoying. But if I go in with my brush kind of caked in it and just tap that onto my nose, that seems to get around the problem. So, forehead. Right, so we're all set down. I'm pretty happy. I do think the Soap and Glory side looks a smidgen better. I'm just going to zoom you back in and show you that, because I'd actually almost forgot that we're using two different primers with it. Oh, I actually zoomed in. This side looks a whole lot better, so that's good that I tried two different ones. For the foundation itself, there is like a noticeable dent where I used it, so not sure how this is going to go on the value for money front, but I'm going to go and finish the rest of my makeup anyway. Timestamp for wear testing it, we're at 8:15. I better run and finish my face before I start work at 8:30. Right, just popping in for a very, very quick finish look. It is 8:27, so I really need to go work. Right, so I'm back. It is just after 1, so this is a couple of hours of wear, and as you can see, we've got oil breaking through. Coverage is still fine. So I'm going to powder this down and keep going. So I don't think there's too much difference between the two sides, primer wise, but I think going forward, if I was using this again, I would definitely be going for the Soap and Glory primer, just because it seemed to sit nicer with it. So that being said, if you have tried this foundation and thought it didn't sit nice, try it with a different primer, because it definitely seems to play better with some than with others. I'm just noticing as I've powdered that the coverage on my nose is a little bit worn down. So we're just going to do a wee tiny tap in the foundation and tap it on the end of my nose. And yes, I know I'm not supposed to powder and then go in with cream, but I hadn't noticed, so it seems to have gone okay doing that. So I'd say the coverage on my chin isn't great, but I am going to leave it just so we get a proper wear test out of this, and I will be back when I'm finished work. Right, so I'm back. It is just after 5 and we're a bit oilier again. Not too drastic, but definitely wanting to touch up again. So we're going to zoom in a bit closer. So coverage wise, there's definitely something funny going on this side, which doesn't look quite right. It's kind of gathering funny. More on this side than on this side. Again, we have different primers on. Oh, and this creasing I forgot to show you at lunchtime. This was happening under here. It does blend out though, so that's fine. Yeah. So far I'm thinking maybe not for oily skinned people. Again, I want to do a bit of a touch up around my chin. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes. That's quite a lot of product actually, but yeah. I mean, I am liking this for touch-ups. I really wish this was doing better. I don't know that I would use it as my main foundation. But if it was doing a little bit better with the oil, I think it would be great for touch-ups during the day. Because that just doesn't look like I've caked on another layer of foundation. And I have. So I'm just going to set that down again because my chin's back to looking nice. And you know, it's compact. I like it. But I absolutely 100% stand by. If you've tried this foundation and have kind of written off deciding it's not for you, definitely give it a second shot with a different primer. Definitely plays with some better than others. So I'm going to make sure I set that bit under there since it was creasing. And matte down my cheeks a little bit. So I will continue with the wear test and we'll be back to see what happens next. Right, so it is almost 11 and we're going to be brutally honest that my face just now looks a bit poop. My eyeliner has decided to transfer under my eyes, making me look extremely tired. But I couldn't wipe it off because I needed to show you something. The dignity. So I've got a bit of creasing going on my under eye. See on this side, and it's also back under the chin. I don't normally get this in my under eyes, so I'm quite happy that it's not the foundation. If you guys are doubting it, see my chin. Oil control wise, we're basically evened out regardless of which primer side we're looking at. The foundation does have silica in it, so it is, you know, silicone based. There's silicone in both these primers, so it's not that I'm using incompatible primers, as it were. I do feel, for some reason, I want to give this another shot, okay? I know I'm having not great results, but I feel the urge to give this another shot because I like most of what I've tried from KVD and I wanted to like this. I am going to try doing one more kind of top up as well, just to see if it still manages to not look cakey, because if so, that's going to be impressive. And if you're somebody with less oily skin, you may have a better time with this than me. So okay, so I mean, in terms of how this reapplies and lets you kind of fix things up again, that's brilliant. I can't fault that. I would obviously prefer it not to need fixed in the first place though. And oh, Finn's in to visit me again. Right, I am going to try this again. Maybe I'll take out another primer just to see. Because I don't know, I want to like this so much. It is buildable coverage, it is really easy to apply, It is a really nice shade match for me. So yeah, I'm going to give it another wee go and take my conclusions from there. Right, I'm back on a different day and I broke the rules. So, I actually had to take a wee break from using this foundation because actually after 2 days in a row I got a breakout, and it was, I'm pretty sure it was down to this because it had been no signs of it before, and it just came up like there was nothing in the morning, and by halfway through the day I had a really sore spot, and it was right on like my lip line, and I don't normally get too many spots there, and basically it felt the same as when I've had reactions to foundations before, for example MAC, when I used to use them. Anyway, today I decided to give it one last chance, and I used the Relove by Revolution Super Matte Primer, which is a water-based primer, which shouldn't work with this because it's a silicone-based foundation, but actually I think it looks better. So I'm going to zoom you in. I retouched my powder a tiny bit at lunchtime. I blotted a little bit. I've lost a little bit of coverage on my nose because my nose is just awful. But everywhere else looks significantly better. Still got a wee bit of creasing under there, but I don't actually remember priming under there. And yeah. I also think I went in a bit more light-handed with this today. So rather than trying to build the coverage, it is meant to be buildable coverage. But instead of building the coverage, I relied a bit more on my concealer, and I've got on better with it. So, I still don't think this is the ideal foundation for me. I think I need a little bit more coverage, or I would like a little bit more coverage, and a little bit more oil control. I still think my other foundation does that better. That being said, if you need less coverage and have less oily skin, it is a nice option. There's a good selection of shades. It's nice and compact for putting it in your bag for touch-ups. If, you know, whatever you're doing, you're going to wear off throughout the day. I do feel like I've used an awful lot of this. Considering that's 3 applications worth, that to me would make this pretty expensive for how long it's likely to last. Again, if you don't build it up, you will use less of it, so there is always that. But for me, I think this is just a little bit too hyped up and not ideal. It's so pretty. I really wanted to like it. Foundation does wear off my nose. I love the idea of something that I can carry, but I'm just going to stick to powder foundations to touch up and blot throughout the day while adding that coverage back. So, I'll stop rambling. If you've got any questions about this, leave them down below and I will get back to you, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye guys.